podcast. It's Connor vs. Cobb, the podcast. I'm Ryan
Dicks
Connor.
out. I'm Nick Cobb.
How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good, man. My mother-in-law is gonna come back here, even though last time she came out, she wanted to leave after 2 days, and she didn't want to leave to go back home. She just wanted to leave and go back to the airport and
How
wait
long was
there
she
for 3
supposed to
days.
stay that time?
She was gonna stay for a week,
And
and
after 2 days, she said, "Take me to the airport."
yeah, well, the third morning, she was
Okay.
like, "Can you take me back to the airport?" I say, "Oh, did you forget a bag?" No. Oh, did you move your flight? No. I just want to go back to the airport and wait for my flight. So
How much later was her flight?
it's a couple more days. She was just gonna wait in baggage claim.
Did
I
she
don't know what
change her flight, or was
No,
she just like a homeless person at an airport?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what she preferred. Dude, I just remembered how
What the?
when Amy was pregnant with our son, our youngest, this is a few years ago, she learned piano. She went to Pasadena City College and took class. She wanted to teach herself some piano. And so as a pregnant woman, she learned piano pretty well. And like when her mom came up that time, she's like, hey, she was eager, she wanted to play something for her mom. So she played a little piano for her mom. And her mom was like, nice. Wouldn't it be cool if you were good at it?
No.
Yeah, she did everything but put the word actually in there. But
Oh man, I once when I was substitute teaching, this was like a 12th grade AP English class, but I was only a few years older than them, and I asked a question about something. The kid clearly hadn't read whatever the material was, and then I said, and I mean, I felt like it was a Mr. Garrison moment. I said, "Okay, how about someone who doesn't sound like an idiot?" Or no, was it or like?
I mean, I
someone
do
who's at least in the ballpark or something.
I do understand. Like, I don't know how many times my kids have been like, hey, do you want to see this magic trick? And you're watching them like fumble their way through this bullshit and you know exactly what's going on the entire time. It's kind of like when you like offer to play hide and seek with them to give yourself a break.
Right.
And the whole point is that you have to act as well as you can, like you don't know where they are.
Oh, is that you in the middle of the room?
What's that? Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. Like you go and you just pretend you don't know where they are, and you go and you take a shower, make a couple of phone calls, whatever it is, and then they're like, "Dad, how did you not? I can't believe you didn't find us." And I'm like, "Man, I just couldn't tell, didn't see you underneath the dishwasher door."
What's the longest you've left them hidden?
Like 20 minutes.
Oh man,
it's a long time, and
that is for a kid.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a TV show. Have I told you about my brother doing that? When he would, I guess I was probably a baby. He decided to hide from my parents, but didn't tell them that he had hidden.
So, wait till they notice, like 16 candles kind of stuff.
Oh, the police got involved.
No.
The police got involved. They were looking for him for I don't know how long, but long enough that they called the police. And this is, when I was a baby, we lived out in the country, and they thought that he'd like run away or been kidnapped or something. This is like around 1980, 81 maybe. And
you'd have to be gone for a long time.
My
in
mom
1980
weeping.
For the parents to even start looking.
Well, a toddler though, or 3, 4, and he's not responding to his name or anything, in the house. He's not responding. And you got to understand, there's like a house on this side. I can't even remember if there was on this side, and it's just woods behind us. And then on the other side, I think it was like cornfields or something.
Is this the brother that chased that cop around?
Yes.
The soccer.
Yes.
Okay, he's clearly really committed to what he's in. Yeah. Okay.
He's a wild card. Yeah, I mean, the police they get their flashlights out. They're searching the woods, doing the full deal with dogs and everything.
They got dogs, like bloodhounds?
Yes.
They
My
sniffed his
mom.
clothes, all that?
Yes, my mom's beside herself, and then she hears a sound in the closet. He had
What?
somehow hidden under a bunch of stuff in the back of a closet well enough that no one even suspected it for hours.
Wow.
And he was just hearing his mother's cries, and it was not affecting him because he was like, she is not going to believe how good I am at hiding. It is going to blow. She's going to be so proud of me when she sees how well I hid. I mean, she's going to feel so silly for.
You're so stupid, Mom. God,
You
crying.
called the police. What?
This is the plus side of like iPads
Yeah.
and YouTube, because a
Oh,
kid would
right.
never, they just would never do that now.
Well,
There's no such thing as boredom. That doesn't exist.
one of my brothers accidentally called the police on my mom because it's April Fool's Day, my mom and stepdad would always play jokes on it. I don't know how they never saw it coming, right? I don't know how anyone falls for April Fool's jokes, but they would always do things. One night, late at night, my mom moved my stepdad's car.
Oh, nice. Okay. All
And
right.
so outside the house, there's like on the left side of the house are these gigantic pine trees, and it's another street. And my mom just pulled the car there on the other side of the pine trees. And
That's pretty good, man.
yeah, and then the next morning, Alan's like, "Where's my car? Where I?" Like my mom's already gone to work, and he's like looking for his car, and he's panicking. He calls my mom just to be like, I don't know where it is. You know, it seems like someone must have stolen my car. And then one of my brothers who was at the house knew, one didn't. The one who didn't calls the police. And the one who knew waited a little too long to tell him. Like
I
waits till he
like it,
starts
man.
giving the address and and stuff, and then he's like, "Wait a minute, no! Mom moved it there. It's a trick. Please apologize to the cops."
I mean, pranks, I don't know when it was, but it really accelerated. It just really took it up about 5 different levels. Like, it used to be a prank was a whoopee cushion. That was a prank.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, you just kind of farted.
Did Tom
And
Green step it up? Is that what
yeah,
happened?
maybe at some point it became like kidnapping was like, that was fair game for
Yeah.
that. One of my friends did this. I wish I could say it was me, but he had a boss that he either really liked or he hated. I'm not sure. But for April Fools, he put a Craigslist ad. He created a Craigslist ad for this guy, like, to sell his car, to sell his boss's
Mm-hmm.
car, and he put it all in Spanish. And he put it all. He said he was asking for like $200 or
Oh my god, I
something,
love it.
and put his phone number down and everything. So
Oh
I don't know
my
how much longer
god.
he worked. I don't think you can fire somebody for that day, but I think it could be,
I
it
did
comes
a
to the front of your brain.
I did a fun prank at a job, a quit. I don't think I ever told you this, but this is the only weird quit story I never told you. But actually, let me tell you, we're just talking about pranks escalating. I think this is the thing that started. It was on Tom Green when his parents were gone for a day or whatever, and he brought over like airbrushers, and they airbrushed the mom's car. Do you remember this?
No, I don't.
Airbrushed a graphic sex act onto the hood, and then under it it says the slut mobile. It's the funniest thing ever. So I worked for a subsidiary of the Royal Bank of Scotland. This is after college. I stopped temping, or what's it called, substitute teaching, because they ended up making me like a permanent elementary school strings teacher, and I hated it. Like,
What?
yeah. And so I left that. I was like, I'll conduct a high school orchestra. I like that, but the kids, give me a break. They sound like garbage. So I you know about it.
I was terrible.
but
Yeah.
I mean, so much worse with kids. I mean, so much worse with string instruments, because they cannot not play with the pegs. So anyway,
But
I
the
stopped doing
money
that.
wasn't so good that it's like, I can't walk away from this. Was it?
They paid me well because it was an emergency hire. They paid me double, but it was it broke my ears. I can't
What's
handle
double? What
any
are we talking about? You're 22 years old. What's double? To
double the
be
starting salary. I think it was like 1,400 a week.
really?
Yeah, it was really good.
You just hated it that much.
I hate it that much, and it was only 3.5 hours a day.
You said no to that when you were
Yeah,
22 years old? You couldn't suck it up for 3 hours a
I'm
day?
telling you, I can't handle it, man. Going back,
Wow.
looking back, I probably should have stuck with it. But it
I
also,
can't believe you said no to that.
yeah,
I mean, I
I
didn't.
did it for months. I did it for months. It was a God, man, that was a ton of money.
I don't know
For
what you were thinking, man. You can't
well, it's
say
because I
15
don't know
hours a
how,
week.
dude. I was having. So here's the thing, for 2.5 years of subbing, while like I got some deal exception where I was able to. It was like once I had 60 college credits, as long as I was still enrolled and had a certain GPA, I could sub. And so I was subbing, certain levels, but I never did elementary strings. But I was the go-to person for the county, which is like 15 high schools, for orchestra and band for high school. Because normally, if the conductor's out, then you watch a movie. But I knew how to conduct. That's what I wanted to do. So I would go in, and it would just be continue mission. The director would just say, we're working on this section of this piece or this whole piece or whatever, and we would work the piece. So because I could do that with high schoolers, the whatever, the personnel director or whatever, said, "Oh, you can definitely do elementary school." And I said, "No, I can't." And he said, "If you can do high school, you can do elementary." And I said, "No, in high school, they know how to play the instrument. I don't know how to play any string instruments. I can play some brass. I can play French horn some. At the time, I could do some saxophone, clarinet. And but you don't. Once people know how to play the instrument, all you're doing is telling them how to sound better. You know what I mean? And then they have private teachers for technique, tone, stuff like that. So
Oh, Jesus.
anyway,
My high school wasn't any good.
so I take this I take this job just because they needed me, and then I ended up having to take lessons. Man, I'm taking lessons a couple days a week on violin and cello.
Man,
I didn't
you're
do viola
you're
because I
so
was like,
conscientious.
I'll just figure it out from violin. But the problem is, each class you got one Suzuki kid in there.
I don't know what that means. What are you talking? Like,
All right, Suzuki. Okay, so what I'm doing in my lessons is like I'm just trying to stay a little ahead of the kids, and like I know bow technique just from playing in orchestras a lot. I know what at least it looks. So I playing the stuff they're playing. Once I get some lessons and I know where the fingering is and stuff like that, I can play everything, right? But Suzuki method, it's something like kids will start doing it like the age of 4. It's like proper violin technique. It's great for discipline in
I
music.
can't believe you put that by me as if I would know it. I mean, it's
I thought
just
everyone knew
like
what Suzuki method. It's like saying Montessori
nobody
schools.
knows. It's remarkable to me that you just tried to put Suzuki method by me, but you didn't know what the donkey show is. How do you not know what as soon as we did the podcast, I walked downstairs
Rachel
and
didn't know either.
I was so happy that I finally figured out a good comp for Showgirls and Elizabeth Berkley. And I'm like, yeah, Fred Savage going to do like a highly publicized donkey show.
All right.
And Amy
Well,
was like, that's perfect. And I'm
well,
like, Ryan didn't know what it was. And she's like, in her words were, he's fucking with you. Of course he knows what it is. I'm like, no, he's not. And now I've got something to add to it, which is he thought I knew what the Suzuki method is.
I thought it was like an urban legend thing. Okay.
No, it's a real thing.
Okay.
By the way,
I asked Rachel. She'd never heard of it either.
what a surprise. Okay. Of course you guys end up together. You're the only two couple that don't know what the donkey show is. That's
Okay.
our age.
Well, we'll use that for our promo clip this week because it's super funny even if you don't know what it is. But anyway, what all I was saying is these kids that could play circles around me. I would be like, you need to do this or whatever, and then the Suzuki kid you figures out, and then they end up being the person you get to demonstrate shit. But it also looks really bad when the kid can play circles around you. So then I quit.
Nobody cares.
So then I quit.
Nobody in my high school, man. No one cared.
I quit. I start working for a Royal Bank of Scotland subsidiary. Right. This is
Right.
like early days of the internet, not internet, but e-commerce, and it was like a low level programming job. We're integrating payment pages into businesses. Like one was the Economist was our big client, and then a bunch of small e-commerce sites, and then you had to find fraud and all this crap. Right. I I didn't hate the job. I hated the hours, and it was like a little far away out in Dulles. And one day it took me 3 hours to get home because of a snowstorm. And after that, I was like, I'm figuring out a way to quit. I was too much of a coward to quit, so I was trying to get fired. Right.
Sure.
So one of the things I started doing first, I started showing up. I would go to work after the gym. There's a gym across the street. I go there in the morning. I go to work occasionally in breakaway pants and just boxers underneath, and just like just hope they'd get caught on something and rip off, and they have to fire me because my ass was out at work. Then I installed in the
It's
tech room.
remarkable. You'd rather have your pants fall down and get fired because of it than to have 1 minute of uncomfortable conversation.
I tried 3 ways to quit. That was one of them. Okay. The second one, so in the tech room, we had a gigantic whiteboard. Because of that, all the company meetings were in there. And this guy, Dave, who was VP of Royal Bank of Scotland, he worked out of our office. And he would do the meetings in there like once every week or two. And what I did was I bought Nerf guns, like the dark kind. And on that whiteboard, I drew targets for different point values on it. And then I had scoring columns on the side.
Okay.
And it was cross departmental. I would recruit people to come in and be like, you gotta show us something. You know what I mean? Your department is lagging. And it became the dart room. And I basically took over the whiteboard so that he couldn't do his meetings because there were dart targets everywhere. And so then one day he goes in and he starts to erase a target, and then he looks over at me and I go, and
Okay.
he left it. I thought he was going to be pissed, right?
Obviously, they loved it.
Well, I thought he was going to be pissed, right? I told him not to erase it. He didn't erase it. Later in that day, he's on a call with all the other VPs. They were mostly UK based. His office is sort of out on the front when you first walk in, this little corner office. I'm going out to the bathroom. I see that he's on the call. I was like, I'm going to fucking get him right now. I get 2 Nerf guns. They shot like 4 or 6. It was one of those like rotating like Gatling gun type things.
Gatlin Nerf gun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I go to his office. I kick the door open and unload the whole thing while he's on his call.
Okay.
Right on him. And I'm thinking, he's got to fire me. He's got to fire me.
Yeah. He didn't fire you.
I go to the bathroom. I'm at the urinal. This is like later in the day. He comes by in the bathroom. We're the only 2 people in there. And I'm thinking, oh, here it is. He gives me this dirty look, right? And then he's leaving before me somehow. And I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting at the urinal. Like, I got to wait till he gets out of here. He hasn't said anything. And he's like washing his hands forever. And then a second later, I feel about 3 pounds of wet paper towels hit me in the face.
Nice.
And he goes, gotcha.
Yeah, that dude sounds awesome. I don't know why.
He was awesome. And then I quit. Yeah.
Then you quit. Like when you were at, what was it?
Everybody there was great. I love that. I love the people there. I just didn't like the job, the commute, and I wanted to do stand up. But I quit in the dumbest way possible. I was like, man, everybody here is so cool. I'm going to quit with an email to the company roasting everyone.
Okay.
I thought it was funny. And here's how bad it got. So I got that job because my friend Jim, it was my friend Jim's job initially. And then he was serving in Iraq for a year. So I was there covering for him for a year was the plan.
Okay.
I get a call several hours later from Iraq.
Okay. Is he okay?
Yes, he's okay. He heard about the email that I sent.
No. That's awesome.
He was like,
this is really incendiary.
He's like, what the fuck did you do? I thought it was funny. I was just like roasting them on the way out the door. Like I gave notice, I gave like a 3-week notice, and then it was just my last day. I thought it'd be hilarious. No one responded. Yeah, I never talked to anyone. I thought it was hilarious. Nice people.
I mean, it's just strange, man. Like the way that you like just sacked up and the way you quit Boston Market, the
Yeah, I
way that
know.
you did, but then tried to get out of like having to quit at this Royal Bank of Scotland. I just don't understand. I can't read
Yeah.
it. Dude,
You're right. There's a real inconsistency there, isn't there?
real inconsistent. Maybe just what's
Oh,
going on in your life.
it might, maybe, I think it's probably partly that because I was also out of college, so it's a little different. And everyone treated me well there. So there's
Yeah,
nothing to walk out on.
I
Like
know.
everybody was really nice. Like all
It's
my
like the
bosses.
yeah, it's like the relationship that you want to get out of. You can't really put your finger on a reason, and you're just begging, like you're praying to God, like, can she just cheat on me, please? So I'll have a reason to get out because I don't have a leg to stand on. Like if I'm going to break up with this girl
Right.
and she's going to say why, I'm going to be, I don't know. I don't know why.
Right.
I just don't want to be here anymore. I
Yeah.
got no reason.
Yep.
I broke
Yep.
up with somebody once, and then I basically the breakup speech lasted about a minute and a half. She was like, "I'm going to go walk the dog. Just don't be here when I get back." So I'm like, "Awesome! I don't have to give a reason." I've been trying to think of a reason for 2 years. Now I don't even have to think of one. I just had to say I don't want to do this anymore.
And that was
And
it.
then like a week later, she's like, her friend calls me demanding I send her an email on like why giving, and I came up with a bunch of reasons why, none of which were actually true. But I'm like, I don't know. Is it really going to make you feel better? Then I'm like, you're not a very friendly person. Is what my email is.
Yeah.
Probably not,
It's a
right?
good question.
Probably not. I don't know. Reasons are overrated. Sometimes you just like do or don't want someone. I don't know. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Um,
No.
dude, I just went to a funeral
Yeah.
and
Sorry, man.
yeah. And I mean, wonderful person, like big part of me growing up, and it's very nice service. But I could not stop thinking about that Yelp review that we read a few weeks ago of the church, where someone gave the church a bad review because they allowed rebuttals to eulogies during funerals. And like this is a person I really cared about, like had a real effect on my, certainly my teenage years.
Tell me you started
And my
laughing.
friend is up there giving eulogy, and I'm trying to be into it, but I can't stop thinking about someone like, okay, is someone going to come up after him and be like, everything he said was bullshit? I just couldn't stop thinking about it.
I started laughing hysterically during a wedding once when I was in the wedding party because during the wedding, I can't remember which friend it was for. It's like we were all in each other's weddings. So I can't even remember if it was his wedding or if I was just standing behind him. But my friend's name is Ryan Frank. And
Good
I
name.
remember during the wedding that his mom's name is Anne Frank.
What?
And his mom and his aunt, actually. His aunt by marriage. Yeah. Uh,
What do
and
you
I just,
mean?
her mom's name is Anne
Wow.
Frank. Her name is Anne, and she married,
That's
Thomas
different,
Frank.
but
Not Thomas,
so the
something
other
Frank.
one was always Anne Frank.
Uh,
Yes, is the answer. That's remarkable.
Let me see. Yeah, how did that go? Or did his uncle marry?
I
No,
don't
you're right. You're
care.
right. You're right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm looking it up. Yeah, so her diary came out in 47, but maybe back then you couldn't just not change your name. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah.
got to change it. You got to
Anyway,
change it
I remembered
right
it.
away.
I am laughing out of control. Just it's the weirdest thing. Oh,
I
it
mean, if
wasn't
you're
a
her, you're just spending your whole life after 1947
yeah.
just getting people really excited and then giving them bad news.
Yeah.
They think you're alive. They think you're the person. And then, no, I'm not. I'm just this regular Anne. And then people are
Nick,
sad again.
Nick, I just remember something.
What?
It wasn't it wasn't a wedding. It's way worse. It was while sitting Shiva.
Oh,
It
you
was while
couldn't stop
sitting
laughing during
Shiva.
that?
Yeah. And it's
Uh,
like, everyone's, you know, we were eating. Everyone's sitting down eating. And in front of the covered TV. And I started laughing because I remembered it. And then Someone's like, "What are you laughing about?" And I said, "Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
No, what are you
I
laughing about? Nothing. And it gets pulled out of me, and then the reaction is, "Oh yeah, that's gotta be an awkward name."
yeah.
No one was laughing with me.
I yeah, when I'm not supposed to laugh, that's generally when it happens. I did tell a couple people after, like during the reception, of like I couldn't stop
Mhm.
thinking about like, can you like
The
imagine?
rebuttal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having that pent up, and it's just like you just can't let a positive eulogy go by without countering it.
Yeah, I got to step in here if I can.
I, I want people to know the truth.
Yeah. I I told you about the oh, no, let's not get to it. It's too dark. It's too fucked up. The most fucked up thing in the world that I've ever seen, and I can't not laugh when I tell it because it's so crazy. It sounds impossible. And I once told the story on stage just because I was like, it's not funny at all, but it's something where first I laugh, I think, as a defense mechanism because it's the most horrific thing
Is it
I can
worse than my
imagine.
dismemberment story?
I think so. I saw a wedding party get killed.
What?
They were taking photos in a car. This is in Spain. Is it Toledo or Salamanca? One at like a really hilly place. And and
Was it the Toledo or Salamanca wedding party killing? Which one was it? Let's
so
narrow it down.
no, I've only seen one. Okay, so this is when I'm in school. There, God damn it, I'm telling you, I'm gonna try not to laugh because it's not funny. There's nothing funny about it. It's the worst thing.
I know
So
these are the best when it's just a completely unfunny story, and yet you find something hilarious about it because the
so
world is so
I get
fucked
to the
up.
bus 20 minutes before it was Toledo. Now I remember because I was wearing the armor that I bought there. Okay,
Okay, all
so
right.
on a hill, there's a church, wedding party. It's a bridegroom plus I think 6 people, something like that. They're doing photos. Then the bride and groom step aside, and then it's the other 6, and they're doing their photos together. I'm on the bus just waiting for everyone. I'm looking at the wedding party. It's delightful. Just then, a parked car, I guess the reverse gave out or the e-brake gave out or something, rolls down the hill. Okay.
Okay.
Mows over all 4 of them. Okay.
You saw this happen?
I saw it happen. It was crazy. Everyone is weeping. It's clearly severe. The bus leaves so that emergency services can get in, right? So then we head back to Madrid. They let us out in this plaza called or not plaza or the subway stop's called Seoul. Okay, and then there's a big hotel like right where they drop us off. We get to the hotel and getting out at the same time of a limo is a bride and groom who are weeping,
Mm.
and I'm just like, oh no, I think this is them. And then I get home, turn on the news. 4 killed during wedding photos in Toledo today. The couple, and then it shows them pulling up to Seoul. It was them. I didn't laugh this time, thank God.
Yeah, I don't know why you would laugh. I
It's
feel
the
like a
worst.
detail was missing, but all the
No,
details that you added in were like the name of the subway station, stuff that I kept on
no.
waiting for it to have any
The
kind of
the
meaning.
only silly part of it is that I'm wearing armor, but that's not funny. It's just
Why-
easier to wear it than carry it. But
I don't understand anything about the armor or why that had to do with
Toledo's
where
where
you lived.
that's where the Spanish armory stuff was.
Okay, fine. I don't. Yeah, no. I really wanted to shepherd this into like, yeah, that's a really funny thing in a
There's
dark
nothing
way.
funny. This
No,
is funny.
no,
I'll tell you
not
something
at all.
funny. I'll tell you something funny. Okay, because you texted me earlier. I said you want a podcast at such and such time, and you said "dicks out," right?
Yeah,
And then you said you accidentally texted that to your mom,
yeah,
and I said, "Did you really?" And you said no.
yeah.
It reminded me of this. My early stand-up days. My buddy Jay. We're in the back of this room, Dr. Dreamos in Arlington, and Jay was like, he's uh, he's always someone who like pushed the envelope, right? Very funny guy.
Like your
Eh,
brother in the closet.
yeah. No, he was very I say Stanhope inspired comic, right?
Okay. Mhm.
And his personality is like that. He's wild. And our sketch shows, he was nearly nude in each show. Like every sketch, we had the J
That's
nude
some Peyton
sketch
Clarkson
because
shit.
he had
Yeah.
weird. He lost a lot of weight, and it was fun to look at. So anyway, he
All right.
texts. He sends a text, and then suddenly he is just bright red. And I was like, I said, what happened? He goes, well, just pulled up my phone to text his girlfriend at the time. Her name was Megan. It was like, she's coming over after the show. And I texted, can't wait to see those boobs.
Nice. Okay.
He goes, but this is like a T9 phone. When you like scroll down, he goes, alphabetically in my phone directly after Megan is mom.
What?
And he sent it to his mom, who she had a double mastectomy recently and was getting implants.
No.
So his mom wrote back, me too. So then
that mom is incredible.
He didn't know what to do. Because he's like, he wants to say.
Yeah, now next time he sees her, he's got to be like, so, Mom, let's see it. Take the shirt off. See those new tits.
How do you walk it back?
You play it. You just play it like, because that's just you being a really supportive son.
Yeah.
Mom, can't wait to see those new fake tits of yours.
I'm going to tell you one more story that he said. So he ended up getting a DUI, lost his license. So then he lived close to me. So I would when we did the same show, I'd drive him home and stuff. One night I drive him back home and I park outside of his house. He opens the door and we're talking. And as he's getting out, he goes, oh, you got to meet my new roommate. I won't say her name. He goes, I bet her pussy tastes like lemonade.
Okay. All right.
And she goes, hey, Jay. She was just walking outside directly behind him and heard it. And then he turns around and he goes, I didn't say chives. I said lemonade.
Just watching your friend go down in flames like that, it's just the best. It's like watching a friend who's a stand-up who's good. It's not fun when they're not good, but when they're good and they just eat shit, it's just.
But have you ever had it where you feel terrible for them?
Sure, but because not if it's not a big moment. If it's nothing, then I love it.
My basketball team. This is just like rec basketball. When I was in like 10th or 11th grade, my friend, like my team was short. We only had 4 people. My friend Quincy was at the game. I never played with him. His twin brother was a professional athlete, and we would play together 5 times a week. He was awesome and fun to play with. Quincy, I'd never played with. I didn't know what was going on there, right? He didn't play because he had bad allergies, and we would always play outdoor. His allergies were too bad.
Yeah.
So he's at the game, and they're like, man, either we run 4-on-5 or we pull someone out of the stands and see if the other team is okay with it. So Quincy comes in. He was so bad that after like 8 minutes, the coach said, all right, Quincy, we're going to sit you down. We're going to finish the game 4-on-5. You know how insulting that is? It was wild.
Better off minus you.
It was like watching a different sport. It was crazy.
He said
he played one more time in his life his freshman year of college, and he said everyone started laughing and they were shocked, and he was like, we'll never play a sport again.
Show me that video, the block.
So
I want to show my kids this, but
so this will be on the video version. We won't have it on the audio version. Okay, so I found this video of this. It's from House of Highlights. This guy, it looks like a high school game, is blocking a shot so brutally.
It is. It's a volleyball spike
off the ground and then goes back up, and it seems to hit the ceiling of the gym.
It's awesome.
My question to you, I have a hypothetical question for you. Would you pay $500 to be able to do this one time?
So assuming that people can watch.
No witnesses.
They have to.
No witnesses.
No. People that like can see this video and know what kind of a block we're talking about. Like
Yeah.
this is the sickest block and cleanest block that you're
It's
going to see. It is.
I always thought before this, I was like, the best block there is when you just take someone's shot out of the air. You
Yeah,
just
you
catch it
catch
and
it.
it's in your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah,
That's the best block. But then because you also have, it's intimidating and you have possession. Then I saw this and I was like, oh my God, he ended somebody's career.
yeah.
They'll never play again.
You're kind of surprised that the person didn't just walk off the court and then had to come back and pick up their dick off the floor and then
It's,
walk back off the court.
it is crazy.
Yeah. So would I pay $500 to block somebody?
Okay, here, okay, I'm going to give you some
Yes, of
stipulations.
course I would.
$500 with no witnesses.
No.
Okay. All right. For $3,000, you can get cameras there, but you got to talk your wife into a $3,000 for this.
I
You think
mean,
you
what
can do
is
that?
the point of doing it without people there? If people aren't there, what it's like, what am I going to
You
like?
got a camera though. You got a camera.
Yeah, $3,000
You're just playing.
is a
You're
lot
playing
for
one
a
on
block.
one, or you're playing a game of 2-on-2, but you don't know the other people. They'll never talk about it again, right? But the
Yeah.
camera might help you. Okay,
I'd rather
I'll
be
throw.
5-on-5 in a
Okay,
referee game.
okay. If you can't get 3,000 for cameras, we can get you 3 witnesses for $1,500. Okay, 3 witnesses for $1,500. The catch is one is Tim Donaghy, the disgraced NBA ref. No one will believe anything he says about basketball. What are his motives? One is a Japanese guy who does not speak English and is watching basketball for the first time. So he doesn't understand how anomalous it is,
Right.
and he doesn't speak our language.
Yeah.
The other person is your mom.
God. So
She's
3
not going to get good video.
and like nobody's going to believe her when she's talking me. They're going to think she's talking me up.
Yeah.
When really, yeah, they're not going to actually believe.
Did Nicholas do that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't like any of those, but I'd rather not have those witnesses are the worst. Although Tim Donaghy isn't so bad. Like, yes, he gambled and he probably rigged some games, but no one would say that he doesn't know what a good block is. I mean, he still is like logged thousands of hours reffing games. Like he knows what a good block is.
Yeah.
So I'd probably take that, but just for Tim Donaghy.
I see. That's what I think. So I'm on the far end of the spectrum on Tim Donaghy, where I think he's the only honest one.
Sure.
Because I've consumed all this stuff, and I'm like, I mean, not all the refs are crooked, but there's like 5 or 6, but they all know which ones are crooked, and I'm like, well, he's at least honest about it.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's a case to be made that like the FBI is like, look, NBA, if you're not going to let him talk, we're going to get all of your refs to talk.
Yeah.
And they're like, no. You can just let that guy talk and we'll just make him out to be a pariah.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm totally with you. I think like I'd love it if for one season NBA games were reffed fairly. Just once.
Just to see who wins. If it's legit for a season.
Yeah, they actually call travels. You know, if they don't let someone whine even one time.
I saw a clip today of Trae Young. He took 9 steps after a carry, and they didn't call a trap. 9 steps.
At least that was
I've never seen this before.
At least that was a trap, and he was kind of walking back. It was kind of explicable. But LeBron, like when he walked it up the court, bringing the ball up the court, and he took 4 or 5. It's just kind of more. It's like so bizarre. Like I can kind of see why the ref wouldn't call it because you're not even looking for a travel at that point.
Like if
you're looking for a backcourt violation,
right? Yeah, I don't know.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
So I am a fan of NBA history, and as such, I bought on eBay Wilt Chamberlain's second autobiography, A View from Above.
Yeah. I know that one.
So here's my question: would you rather, if gun to your head, read this book for 12 hours a day for a month, over and over and over? Reminder, it's his second autobiography, okay? Or pretend there's like a portal, if you will. There's like a recording of all of the whining and complaining that like an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend of yours did about you post-breakup. like the worst, like untruest shit that they're saying about you.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to that
Oh, like
12
saying to
hours a
other
day for,
people?
yes, you can't chime in. This is stuff that's already been said, maybe continues to be said. 12
For how
hours a day
long?
for a whole month. Same amount of
12
time as
hours?
Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah.
What's
You
the
either
reward?
read Wilt the Stilt like
What do
it's
I
your
get?
job. You get nothing. It's either or.
12 hours a day?
Yeah, it's brutal reading.
I
Because
would do
you
the Wilt.
finish this book in 45
I've read
minutes.
that book, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
I would do the Wilt book. I can't handle that. I once had someone text me. It was like 48 or 72 hours of just nonstop texts of insane stuff. Obviously, I stopped reading them after about 25 minutes. But then it was 2 to 3 days of just nonstop crazy stuff, and then a day of silence, then an apology.
Wow. Okay, all right. Let's make it less
So
crazy.
just the idea of that, I'm like, I can't listen to this.
You read the Wilt book for, we'll just call it 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Or you listen to an ex talking shit about you nonstop for 2 hours.
Nonstop for 2 hours. What was the Wilt thing again? What was the
12. 12 hours for Wilt, 2 hours
just
for
once
talking
though?
Yeah, just once.
Wilt.
Yeah? Yeah, so would
Yeah,
I.
dude, I don't want to hear that, man. I
don't want to hear it either.
I'm trying to stay alive. I don't want to get broken down. Okay, can I tell you one thing real quick before we get into rank them?
Yeah.
So I was in Montreal this weekend, one of my favorite clubs, just an amazing place. The Comedy Nest, and such fun shows, right? Just absolutely, just so much fun. Sold out of books with 2 shows left.
Nice.
Buy my book
Canadians.
for party.
How many books are we talking? Are you going to say you sold out and it was 5 books?
No, it was 20.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Yeah.
So I got a Instagram message from a guy who doesn't really use Instagram much. He has an account. Hey man, caught your set last night at the Comedy Nest in Montreal. Just wanted to let you know that if you need to make fun of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, you're not that funny. Safe trip back to LA. God bless.
Nice.
I mean, first of all, he spelled Savior like the Old English version, which is pretty fun. Secondly, everyone was laughing. Thirdly, I'm not making fun of Jesus. It's a joke I have about archaeologists discovering that the average height of an adult male 2,000 years ago in Judea is about 5'2". And the joke, then I say that's mighty short for a Lord and Savior. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then just the joke is basically about how hard it would be to accept that if you're in the same room as Jesus and you're like, you'd want it to be obvious, you wouldn't want to be like, where's Jesus? Like, oh, he's on the other side of that stool, so you can't really see him from here because of the stool. So there's a lot of that, but the story is really about bias against short people, right?
Yeah.
And,
okay.
that's the real essence of the joke. Unless they have magic powers, because that's what it goes into. And we're like, but if he was like Yoda, you know what I mean? Then everyone would love that version, just like a little 2'3" guy wandering into weddings, turning water into wine, then scampering off like a little rascal, hiding behind a flower. So anyway, I just thought this was really funny. So I wrote him back and,
did you apologize? Please say you did not apologize.
Not. Yeah. Oh, no. I was ruthless, but I came at him like a Christian, so he won't know what to do with it.
Nice. Okay. Can you read it?
Yeah. Say some might say it's like a parable.
Did you say that?
Yes.
That is interesting. A 5'2" Lord and Savior.
Overly literal.
Yeah.
Like some other things. But
yeah. I mean, what are you going to do, man? Like, you can sit here and say that it's about something else and it's clearly about something else, but if that's included in it, that is what it is about to him. That's how it is.
But that's always the fault of the interpreter, right? That's what extremists are.
Look, one of my friends lost a bunch of colleges because he did a joke and it was an anti-homophobe joke. An anti-homophobe joke.
But he said something. Right.
And in the punchline is the word lesbian. And it is making fun of homophobes. And what do you know? A couple of days later, that school, the newspaper, says, comic bombs or comic offends with gay slurs and what have you. And he lost a bunch of colleges and lost a whole lot of money because this person either it's I almost like I think it's more likely that they deliberately misconstrued it so that they had something to write an article about. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
covering a comic, what are you going to say? They're good, they're bad, they were okay, they were in the union. Everybody just watched them for 5 minutes. What is there to say? So it's a little more believable that they just wanted an angle for their article. But either way, it
Yeah.
cost them, like $20,000. I gotta go, man. Let's do this rank
That's
them.
awful. Rank them. Let's play Rank Them. Rank Them is a game where I list 3 attributes. This is for a person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. They are identical in every way except for these 3 defining characteristics. You must rank them. Ready?
Please.
Doesn't believe in medicine at all.
Okay.
Not Western medicine, not Eastern medicine. Doesn't believe in any of it. Just a kook, full blown kook. 2, did 3 years in prison for malicious wounding. All right.
Okay.
3 is a freegan and will be a freegan for life. That's a dumpster diver. They exclusively eat dumpster dove food.
God, this is tough. It really gets down to like, how could they possibly be the perfect person outside of this? Because
It's the same person. It's just if
I
Amy
know,
had
I know, but they're a
I hear you.
complete hypocrite if they're a perfect person and yet
They're the same person except
maliciously
this.
wound people. I know. But
Yeah.
because a perfect person, in my mind, would be pretty compassionate and pretty comparing, but or pretty
Oh, she
caring.
is, but this happened too.
She maliciously wounded. I guess I would say, oddly enough, I'd say the most tolerable would be prison. Would be
Yeah, for
the
malicious,
first. Yeah.
malicious wounding, at least in Virginia, where I learned about it because a friend that I worked with at Deck America did, I think, 2 years for it. It means you punctured someone.
Wow. Okay. So that one. I
was
mean,
the
that could be
actual
that
term
could
of
be an
puncture.
accident.
Oh no, it's
The
malicious. It's malicious. It's in the title.
could be accidentally malicious. I'd say dumpster's the bottom. So whatever the other one, the kook is second. The dumpster, like the
You can
fact
still
that
go to restaurants though.
what do you mean? She won't order and then she'll just go. Actually, maybe that's
But
good.
when you're at restaurants, that's she'll order then. But I mean, it doesn't mean you can just go out every night. It still has to be like a normal rotation. But at home,
Otherwise,
it's
she goes across street to the school and goes in their dumpster.
yeah,
All
a
right.
grocery store.
God, yeah, no, that's yeah.
This is
Yeah,
tough.
dumpster's still middle, kook is last.
This is tough. Because I hate agreeing with you too, but malicious wounding is definitely number 1.
It is.
You just say she's done
it's
her
not
time.
really close.
She's done her time. Occasionally, she acts a little bit crazy. That's I guess PTSD. That doesn't believe medicine thing that really bothers me, and that tells me she's going to die early. Which if,
What
if
the
she's out of her
puncturing
mind,
thing, like that could just be one bad moment. It also could be like
hey, it
defending
could be
themselves.
one bad moment where you get stabbed too.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the freegan thing, one of my brothers was freegan for a couple of years, 3 years maybe, and he liked it. It was he's going through a phase. He stopped when he went to a real hippie school. And I remember one time I was over at his apartment during this era, and I was like, "Man, you got a whole case of Kind bars here." And he goes, "Yeah, take some if you want." I pick up a couple. I was like, "Man, why'd you get a case?" And he goes, "Oh, this is a dumpster, man." And I was like, "All right, I know they're clean, but it doesn't. It's still a mental thing."
That's like the best case scenario of what you're talking about.
Well, they only do things that are double wrapped, right? Double bag wrapped. But here's I at least respect the ethos of it, which is they're not doing it to be cheap. They're doing it to not waste food, right? I respect that ethos.
They're also doing it to be cheap. But
Well,
I do like the action part of it. There's an element of that of like, I just like the action. I'm not satisfied with just like ordering Chinese food. I want to go out and find. There's a hunting element, scavenging. You're scavenging.
I
There
think I take
is.
it over doesn't believe in medicine because doesn't believe in medicine. Just think of how much caretaking you're gonna have to do just because they won't take an
That's dead
antibiotic.
last.
That's
Absolutely.
last.
I'm okay
No
with somebody,
medicine's
especially
last.
if you're in New York and it's like, hey, I'm gonna go scavenge for a while. It's like, knock yourself out. You're an adult. I don't give a shit. Especially you go out to, I mean, you in New York, like those restaurants are throwing away good stuff. You go do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's no different than what other people do when they're drunk. So they just do it every day. They're just committed, like your brother in the closet. I
I'd
gotta go,
almost.
man.
And by the way, if you're just tuning in now, when he says in the closet, he means my brother's actually hiding in the closet, not
Yeah, for
not like
hours.
a gay man who hasn't come out. Okay, what would you like to promote, Nick Cobb?
I've got to go put my kids to bed.
Oh, that's great. Fantastic for the Jesus Christ, man.
What?
You can buy my book, The Party, on Amazon. It's a political satire. Think Orwell meets Naked Gun, if you like.
It's a good
But
book.
thank you very much. And I'll be back in Canada in May, Toronto, Ottawa, Hamilton. Booking a few other cities, I believe Philly, Chicago. I'm not sure where else, but details
You
to
better
come.
not do that savior joke.
Oh God.
Not in Philly.
Well, that is our time. Thanks for listening to the show. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, accuse us of crimes, whatever you want to do in your
Unbelievable.
review.
That's unbelievable.
All right.
Just a couple of guys palling around, coming out of your speakers, a beautiful sound. They debate, berate, and have a laugh or two. Connor v. Cobb, for me and for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Connor v. Cobb, for me and you.
Ryan and Nick. Nick and Ryan. The scoundrels of the hour.